for joining me for another episode of the SquareUp podcast, where we help you give your brand a fighting chance. Today, I am so excited to have someone I've just been introduced to recently, but apparently she's that chick and I'm late. So on today with Lori Croom, or is it Croom Bush or just Croom? What do we go by?
Croom Bush.
Croom Bush. I'm a double name person too, so I feel you. It's okay.
I got a lot of different names.
Names. You know what? I've learned. That's why I kind of dropped the last names though, because I said with all the changes, the first name stays the same.
Yeah, life got a little complicated there. Yeah.
But that first name does exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
My God, today.
There you go. Okay. And she is just doing some absolutely amazing things. And I'm going to have her share just her journey, her profession, like actual, I have air quotes for those who can't see me, like profession. And then this amazing devotional book that apparently everybody is talking about. I keep getting DMs about it. I'm like, I need to get, I'm late. So we're going to just talk about how we got there, the purpose behind it. But first, I just want you to just take a few moments, introduce yourself to my people, and just tell us like what you've been up to lately, like right now.
Goodness. Okay. I don't really know where to start, but my name, of course, Dr. Lori.
Wherever you start is the perfect place.
All right. Dr. Lori Croom Bush. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, originally the middle of 5 children. I went to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. I came back home to go to UAB School of Optometry. That was my plan from the 10th grade on, is to be an eye doc. And so I went there, graduated, and opened a practice in downtown Birmingham called Now Vision Eye Care. I've been running that practice for about 10 years. Well, really, it was 10 years back in April. So 10 years now I've been doing that. On the side, I'm also a wife. I'm a newlywed actually now. I've been married for about nine or so months. I'm a mom, and I have 2 girls. Between the both of us now we have 5 kids.
I love it.
Yeah. Yes. And so on the side of all of that, I'm a preacher, so I do
come on, Jesus,
bring the word from time to time. And then now, more recently, I became an author back in 2020. When the pandemic hit, I ended up unexpectedly becoming an author. It was not in the plans. But yeah, so that is one of the things, the daily devotional book, one of them, My God Today. And now I have 3 books, which is crazy, but as I was not planning to be a writer. But My God Today is the one that most people know, and a lot of people have, and it's been a blessing. That's really, those are like my basics. Those are my basic things.
And none of what you just said was anywhere near basic. So I love how you said it with such ease. Yes, first I'm a doctor, which is optometry, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I write books, I'm a pastor.
Oh, and on the side, I'm an Instagram hottie. Just occasionally. Not always. Not always.
Yeah, I put myself together and look like somebody.
Yeah, because I don't do it all the time. I cannot be on their necks all the time because that'd be too much. They'd suffocate. So I'm just an Instagram hottie. Occasionally, let them know I still have it. You know,
she said I'm sparing y'all.
Yeah, I don't want to be. They need to see this. They need to see it, but I don't want them to. I don't want to overwhelm their system. So, most of the time, I just look a hot mess. But every now and again,
it's funny you say that because my grandmother, literally, I am my grandmother's daughter, and literally before she comes out of her bedroom every day, she looked like this.
Wow.
I didn't see my grandmother in pajamas or a robe or anything until I was like 22 or so.
Wow.
Like she not coming out the bed, and I get that from her. So like literally I wake up in the morning and go in the bathroom, and I'm not coming out until I look half decent.
Right.
So it's just like people, you're not catching me off guard. Roll up at my house and I wasn't ready. So,
Right. I'm not ready quite often, but
like
but it's
most people, I'm
the
sure your
job
life is a
done.
lot calmer than mine too because of that. So congratulations to you. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of go down the list here of just exploring how we got to this most recent book. But first I want to just talk about Doctor,
Yes.
like that journey.
That
So,
happened.
and you said since 10th grade, you knew that's what you wanted to do. And you like, so how did that journey go about?
Yeah, 10th grade is when I made my decision. I used to, when I was younger, I've been wearing glasses since first grade, and my parents would take me to UAB, School of Optometry, for my eye exams. And so I think what they would do there, they would have these doctors come in, do all this stuff. It'd take a really long time. They'd finally finish, and then they say, okay, now I'm gonna let my teacher come look. And I'm just like, you're not the doctor.
Oh,
And then I find out, right. Then I find out, then their teacher comes in, does pretty much everything all over again. Very grueling experience. But what it taught me was a different way for people to learn. I was so used to being in a classroom, looking at a board, just listening to somebody teach and write notes, that when I saw these other people were like in school, but not sitting in a class, it intrigued me.
yeah.
So since then, I took interest in it. And back in 10th grade, I was wanting to go into optometry because I was like, this is a good field. I'm just in charge of like one organ, the eye. How bad can it be? Then you can, if I had an entrepreneurial spirit, so I was like, you can own your own business if you would like to. And then it wasn't like that crucial, like not a lot of people die, if I don't, it's not as much pressure. Like it's not as much pressure. So I was just like, that sounds like a good field for me. Sounds real chill.
The death
Sounds
rate,
chill.
the death rate is really low.
It's really low. So it was a chill profession. And I thought I don't have to like go to a hospital and be there for all day. So I'm like, I feel like I could still have a family and all that stuff. So I was like, this sounds like a really good career. And so come to find out, optometry school was like the hardest thing I've ever been through in my whole entire life.
It's crazy. I've heard that it is so intense.
Oh, it's so intense. It's so intense. And they try to weed people out, not a lot of minorities. I think we started with 4 Black people in my class. We finished with me and one other girl. So it was hard. It was a really hard, but the actual profession is not. It's once you get the hang of it and when you're just continually updating your knowledge, it's chill because I notice like, optometrists, they'll be working up into their 80s and stuff, just a 1 or 2 days a week, because it's not that, it's like you put in the work to get there, and that's difficult, and a lot of people don't make it, but once you make it, it's not that bad. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I have on glasses. These are not for decoration. Your girl is very appreciative of her optometrist.
Yes. We do important work, man. Then you got the little kids they're like in 1st or 2nd grade. They never even knew that trees had actual individual leaves on them. They get those glasses for the first time, then they turn around and they come and hug you. And they're like,
let me tell you.
Unsolicited hugs are my jam. Yeah.
Quick story. So when I first started wearing glasses, I was in college. And my mom had made herself an eye appointment and basically was like, do you want me to make you an appointment too? And I'm like, no, like I'm fine. And she's like, okay. And she made me one. She's like, okay, you're coming with me. Like,
oh, okay, sure. Yeah, come on.
Fine. I don't know. Like,
she just took me just to go with her. She's at 11, right?
She just took me. So I went, turns out I had astigmatism in my left eye but almost perfect vision in my other eye. So I got my glasses, went back to school 2 days later after I got my glasses. It was a whole new world. I was like, oh, so this what y'all been seeing.
People don't know what they're missing. People really don't. If you don't know, you don't know.
Like, I thought everybody was having difficulty seeing the whiteboard in this auditorium classroom because we're far away. Like everybody.
Right. No, so y'all see that? Y'all see that fine. Y'all been seeing that. Okay.
I didn't know. whole life changed. I've been wearing glasses ever since, and I'm the person, I'm like a connoisseur of glasses. I collect all kinds of.
Like the ones you have now.
Thank you. I
Sorry,
love
your
pretty frames.
podcast people might not be able to see them, but they are really cute guys.
Thank you. That means you should also go watch this, you guys. If you're listening, you should
Yes, go watch and see her glasses
but,
for sure.
yeah, I love fancy, big, and I love gigantic glasses. The bigger they are, the happier I am. So yes, if you're listening to this and you think you're seeing great, you might want to just go get
and even if you've just been having headaches and you feel like your vision is fine, sometimes that means that you need to have your eyes checked, because then people have been suffering for headaches for years, and all they needed was some glasses and did not realize it. And then other thing too is just like making sure that the internal parts of your eye are good and healthy, because you can have really good vision, 20/20 central vision, and glaucoma could be creeping up, and then you end up blind before anything can be done. So please just have them regularly looked at, even if you see fine. That's my public service announcement.
Y'all hear what the doctor just said.
Yeah, I want to help my people.
And I've had COVID 4 times. So I just finished my 4th go around with COVID, because apparently COVID likes me.
Apparently so.
My sister said apparently I take enough herbs and vitamins and eat enough trees and grass that apparently it can't survive in my body, though, because I usually have it real bad for about 3 days and I'm fine. But
they're okay.
I say that because my eyesight has gotten worse because of COVID.
Yeah, I've had patients that
and we
have
didn't
had that.
The thing.
Yeah, they've had people, their vision has shifted before and after COVID. I've seen the shift. So it's always good to have it checked, especially if you've had COVID. Go have it updated, make sure it's all good.
There you go. Okay. So you mentioned about the lack of minority representation when you were in school and just in the profession overall. Do you feel like it's still that way, or what was that experience like for you? Because I think our generation, we kind of got so used to not seeing representation that it was just normal.
Yeah, it was tough. Like, well, for one, it is still underrepresented. There was a statistic, and I cannot remember what it was. I went to a optometry meeting, and they said maybe African Americans make up, I want to say it's definitely less than like 2% of optometrists in America. But the crazy, it's some small number, but it's so crazy because to me, it doesn't seem like that because I know a lot of us. But then I think about, we shouldn't all know each other. It shouldn't be such a small amount that we all know each other. So to me, I'm like, oh yeah, gang, we all over here. But then it's just like, it's a lot of us. No,
it's
the fact that I know everybody is a problem. I shouldn't know.
All of the Black journalists can get together and have lunch.
Right, that's a problem. So I'm just like, yeah, we are here, we representing, but I'm just like, wait, no, I shouldn't know all of you. So it is still underrepresented, but we are making strides. We are trying. UAB School of Optometry. It was a tough place for minorities. I really was scarred by it, to be honest with you, because I came from an HBCU. Yeah. And so it was like Wakanda for 4 straight years, Black excellence. We're all just young Black and living, like trying to make our dreams come true. We're just out there grinding as young Black people in the AUC. And so then I come back to UAB, and there's so many times where I'm just the only Black person in the room. And so it was a bit of a transition having to go back to that. But my school, Spelman, really prepared me very well for the real world. And I did well in school. But it was, it was hard because, I was in school when Obama got elected for the first time. And man, when I tell you, had I been in the AUC, if I had been back in college, it would have been just like the biggest celebration. But I come back there the day after, and it's the most somber, mood. People are talking about leaving the country. And, it was just like, there was some, I cannot remember who it was, but it was one of the gospel greats. It wasn't it wasn't Dottie Peoples, but it was somebody along the lines. I cannot remember, but she passed, and I was like really in my feelings about it, and like nobody knew who I was talking about. And I was just like, yo, I was like, I can't remember who it was back then, but I was just like, she gone, y'all, she gone. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, who?
And for those who are listening, if you're not familiar, she said University, Alabama, Birmingham, UAB. This is Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
Like that's where she went to school. I lived very close by. So not only is she going from an HBCU to a PWI, it's a PWI in Birmingham.
Yeah, Alabama.
And if you want to just research the history of Birmingham, if you're unfamiliar, that's your homework for today.
No, we had it. It was me and the other Black girl. We would sit in the front row, right? Because we're trying to make sure we pass.
Yeah.
But we had this one professor who would literally step instead of standing up at the board and teaching, instead of standing up at the podium or the screen, she would literally come and stand
Past y'all
at the second row behind us and be showing and literally demonstrating stuff to the rest of the class as if we were completely invisible. And we're trying to crane our necks backwards, trying to see what she's showing and look around the corner. And it's just like, we're sitting on the front row. We should have a front row seat to, what's being taught. And we asked her several times not to do that, but she kept on doing it. And I just feel like had we not, had it been someone else sitting there, she would not have done that. And so things like little small things like that, and they try to weed you out harder. They try to get me to donate money. And I'm not ashamed to say my money goes to Spelman.
There you go. Of course.
I'm like, y'all got enough money. What? I'm just like,
I have a similar. First, the profanity that just rose up in my spirit,
right?
As you said that, but I dialed it back. That was a lot, but I'm kind of that way too. When it's even sometimes not even my college, I send my money to my high school a lot of times because. Where I got my master's degree, absolutely not. They're not getting my money.
Wow.
And I had a great education there, but just culturally, absolutely not. We're not even going to name them.
Right. And Albertina Walker, that's who it was. I just remember it was Albertina Walker. Albertina Walker passed.
Okay.
And I was like, Albertina Walker, no, y'all, everybody, she gone. She got up out of here. And they just like, who?
And that's, I think people don't understand that it's important to have a culture and atmosphere, professors that you can relate to, not just for academic understanding, but things that happen within the culture.
Yeah.
See, I went to a PWI, but the Black culture there was so different that like we were the ride through the campus blasting "My president is Black" type situation happening. And it was a completely different kind of atmosphere, but we had those instances where you either weren't chosen for something because you're Black, or the reason you were chosen is because you're Black.
That's crazy.
And it kind of made you kind of feel, some kind of way sometimes. I know me and my particular group of friends, we had the mindset of, we know that for some of these things that we were chosen for, they picked us to be the token Black people. We get that. But we also know they picked us because we're going to send Ashley to this Board of Trustees event because Ashley is Black and Ashley is a woman and Ashley is extremely intelligent though. So once we put her in the room, she can hold her own. We can't just pick any Black person.
Yeah.
So yes, those things play a factor, but then you have to also understand that they still chose you for a reason.
Yeah.
So play into that. And that's a difficult place to be in because part of you is like, I don't even want to do this because I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, you're like, no, part of my hard work and who I am still got me in this room.
Open doors. Yeah.
So you have to figure out, which doors are worth going through. Okay. So now you're a doctor. Okay. So now we're going down a list of things that you named. I have wife mommy happening with this.
Yeah.
And I hear, so you already had a child, and then he had, or you had how many? You got one?
I had 2. He has had 3. So now we have 5.
Got it. That's so cute. Okay. So, so it looks like we had child, or possible there was another relationship there.
Oh no, I was married before. So when I was,
Okay. Starter husbands. It's okay. You know?
I was married for probably 8 or 9 years or so.
Okay.
Prior to. So I went through.
Were you already working in your profession during that whole time?
Yes.
So
Yeah, that was the college. That was like
that.
the college person to, I went from college to, I think, through optometry school, worked for a bit. And then, so that was that. That was about 9 years of life. Not going to speak on it because,
but the part that
I don't really have a lot of, you don't want to speak negatively about people sometimes.
Everyone listening, she and I we're gonna finish this conversation later.
But I'm blessed. I'm blessed because my children are wonderful. And that's so cliche. You know how people say that, and they're like, I got my kids out of it. But now I'm just like, I get it. I do understand why people say that. I used to not. I'd be like, really? That's what we saying? Is that what everybody was told to say? But it's true. It's true.
I got married the same day I turned in my final paper for grad school. That same day. So the day I finished grad school is the same day I got married.
Wow, you did a lot.
I turned in paper at 11. I got married at 5.
Wow.
And that was a thing. Wow. And then I had my daughter. And then 2 weeks before I had my son, me and my ex-husband split up. So like 2 weeks before.
Yeah. I understand. My child was my youngest was probably about 6 months at the time when we
14 months old and was 8.5 months pregnant. You know what I mean? So it's like, but you have that mindset of they are the most amazing. Like, God, if you had to give me a consolation prize, that's the one. Like you did.
Right.
I appreciate that. So when it came to now you're transitioning from working in your profession, being a mom, and having that, all of that together, and then transitioning into still not even just working in your profession, but kind of going even harder. And now you're a single mom. Like, how did that transition how did you manage that? How did you first approach it?
Those were some rough years. Hold on, at my mom's house, she still has a landline. So not used to this.
Like, what is that?
My car is getting some work done on it. So I had the shops by her house. I don't know. I don't even know how to work. Probably hardly know how to work landlines anymore. Anyway, you just pick it up and press a button. Anyway, so what happened, the single mom years were tough. Like they were, it was, I don't know how I stayed sane, but I would say that going through that makes me feel like I can really go through anything, because I had let me tell you this. I had a 2-year-old, and at that time, about 8 or 9 month old. I was being a doctor, but I was also running a business, which is my practice. And then, girl, child, I got online and started pledging DST at the exact same time, because
we don't make logical decisions, because when that Delta door opens, you just gotta run into it.
You don't have a choice, because you never know when it's gonna open again.
It could be another 10 years. You have no idea.
Listen, because I had been waiting the 10 years, okay? So I was just like, really now? This what we gonna do now? Now y'all gonna have a line? Now I've been waiting, because their last line prior to that was, I want to say, it was like 6 years prior. So I'm like, I'm not gonna wait no 6 years to make it into Delta land. So right. So
I got it done in college, praise God.
bless the Lord for that, because when I tell you, and it wasn't easy, it was really, but it was an opportunity of a lifetime, obviously. So I wasn't going to pass up on that.
Mhm.
And so and I'm literally like, I'm online. I got these children. My sister helped me a little bit. I went from being married to living like at my sister's apartment. She had like an extra room in the back. And it was like me and the girls, we all lived in the room together. And I'm online at the same time. And then randomly, all at the same time, I became this viral internet sensation, right? Just
Ooh,
not meaning
how does
to,
this happen? How does this happen? I want to know.
not even meaning to. So there was this video that I posted, and I was telling someone else that, God's word, it dwells very richly in me. That so whenever I listen to things, no matter what it is, I always hear the Lord speaking to me. And I don't always just listen to obviously like gospel and church music and stuff like that. I listen to more ratchet music at times. And so what
Totally valid.
what happens though is that I will listen and I will still hear God talking to me.
Praise God, He is everywhere.
And so one song that has just always sat down in my spirit, is Wipe Me Down. And so I made a video and I was talking about Wipe Me Down in the video, just how, pulling up to the club, VIP. And even though your gas tank is on E by the end of the night, all drinks are on. That's faith to me. That's faith. That's faith. And my faith was so strong. And then God worked it out. And then not only did he work it out, he gave me overflow. My cup ran over so much that other people's drinks was on me. That's my cup running over. So anyway, I go online and I make this video and me talking about that, preaching a little sermonette on Wipe Me Down. And unexpectedly, I was literally in my pajamas. It ended up being viewed over 1 million times across platforms. Like the Shade Room had posted it,
There
World
we
Star.
go.
It
There
was
we
on World Star. It was on all these different things. And so all that while I was online and these children and trying to work and, going through signing papers for divorce, it was just all that going on at once. But God brought me through that. And so the crazy part about that viral video was that My God Today was kind of like it was kind of like a tagline that I end up using in the video, like My God Today. And so that became a whole entire thing.
Mhm.
People were messaging me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I needed this. It made me laugh, but also gave me a word." And I mean, so can you make more videos? And then can you also pray for me and my husband? So I'm just like, I was just trying to kiki with my friends on Instagram, but they were just they were just like inspired for real. And I was
There
like,
you
well, if
go.
I'm
Hey,
inspired, I
hey.
was like, well, if I can bless somebody, let me go ahead. So that's how I made the Instagram page, My God Today, which that's my Instagram handle at My God Today for my books and everything. But I started it just to make more videos, more little sermonettes out of these random ratchet songs. And so when the pandemic hit, and
Mhm.
I had to close my clinic for who knows how long. I didn't know at that time. The girls were in virtual school. I was stressed out. And I was just like, well, Lord, what do you want me to do with this time? And he was like, you could write your book. And I was just like, book? I didn't know I had a book. And he says, yes. And so he gave me My God Today,
Mhm.
365 devotions for people who might be a little ratchet, but God knows your heart. That's my book that I came out with in 2020. It took about
I
2
love that for
months.
people
Yeah,
who may be a little
a
ratchet.
little ratchet, but God knows your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in 2020. It took me about I started in May. I finished it that July, and
Mhm.
then I published it by September. And it really has done very well.
Yeah.
Very well. And that was in 2020, and it's still every day, it's still doing very well. So God blessed me with that. And I ended up writing another book the following year. Even though I thought I was just like one time, that's enough, I'm good. I did what I was supposed to do, but God gave me another book
Let me
called
just
God Be
be
Knowing.
obedient to the Lord. Write this one book. I'm gonna just
Still
be
obedient. I thought I was just gonna do the one book, but God was just like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, here's another one." I was like, "Dang!"
obedient.
But but that one's called God Be Knowing, because He be knowing stuff. all the time. And so it's just all the time. You can always look back and be like, God was knowing that whole time, you know. And so that one is 365 devotions for people who are as undefeated as Al Green's internet. And so that one, instead of taking lyrics and making a devotion out of like a song, that one takes popular internet phrases, like things that we use, like it's giving, all that sort of stuff like that, and it uses that and makes a devotion out of that. It's also kind of like an urban dictionary for people who've never heard these phrases.
Who don't know stuff like it's giving,
right. It's giving what? What does that mean? Yeah, and that's it. And so it's like it's the blank for me, might be in it. Anything that you might see on the internet.
And I'm going to link all of these in the show notes. So you guys who are listening, in the show notes, you will have a link for the book. Would you prefer I do Amazon links, or do you have a personal link on your website?
Amazon is best.
I started Amazon is faster, but I know Amazon does take a coin.
It does, but you know what ended up happening? It got to be so crazy that this is how good God is. This is how good God is, because I was giving people the option to just buy them on my website, which you still can. It's at Lori@LoriCroom.com if they wanted autographed copies and stuff. But it got to be so overwhelming that I don't even tell people about that anymore, for real, because, between work and trying to be a mom and do other things, I didn't even really have time to sign the books and to send them off like that. So with Amazon, I could just be asleep. They take a coin, but I can be asleep when they take the coin. And so I'm okay with it. Yeah.
I completely, I have a book as well. It is also on Amazon, and I appreciate those little emails from Amazon letting me know that a deposit is on the way.
Right.
You never know how many books you sold until they just send you the email like, we're sending you money. Okay.
Right. So I'm grateful, because it really does take a lot of pressure off of me, because I was up late nights packing books, signing, shipping them off at the post office before work, and it just wasn't sustainable. So I couldn't keep it going. Yeah.
Okay, so quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these things going on. I am a doctor. I am running my own practice. For some reason, the Lord felt like I should be responsible for other little humans, and I have 2 of them, and I have to keep them alive. All of these things. I'm writing books now. It's, and now I have an Instagram audience to entertain.
I try to get some reels every now and then. Yeah.
So can you give us kind of like one of those moments where you felt like, I can't do this? Like, I just can't, I'm giving up. But instead of giving up, you decide, I'm gonna, SquareUp, and I'm gonna get this done. But what was that moment like when you were at the breaking point of like, I'm done, I'm picking one of these things and that's it, but you decided to keep going? What was that like?
And that happens all the time, man. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
One moment. Like, what are you talking about? That be happening all the time.
You mean which time? This month?
Yesterday count, right?
But what? This month or last month?
That's actually a fairly common occurrence for me. There are people who literally try to purchase my practice. So I have, my next door neighbor wants to purchase my building from me so that he can expand his. And sometimes I'm just like, come on, come get it. Come take it. Because it's too much. And there's another company that calls the office a lot, asking can they purchase the practice and turn it into like some other commercial practice. And of course I'm just like, no. But then sometimes I'm like, how much you say again? But what ends up happening when I get to those places is just that I just make changes. Mm-hmm. So that's really the key, is just like what can I adjust to make this, like, it won't happen like this again. You know what I'm saying?
Say that.
Like if I have to and I know it's going to sound bad, but sometimes I have to let people go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if my person that's working, my office person is making things harder or making it me want to quit or making me want to give up, I gotta let you go. Because I didn't work that hard to come to work and be like wanting to give up. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So if you're contributing to me wanting to give up, then I might have to switch something around. If anything is contributing to me wanting to give up, I just try to find a way to change it. And that's what gets me, because sometimes you get to where you feel stuck and you feel like it is what it is and you can't change stuff. And you have to remind yourself, I can. And I think that's what divorce taught me more than anything, was just that you're never really stuck, and you may not want to make the change, and it may be uncomfortable, or people may not like you for it, or people may not understand it, or people may talk about you for it, but it's not that you can't. You know, it may be that you don't want to, but it's not that you can't. And sometimes you just need to make an uncomfortable change. So that's what ends up happening for me. It's just like I just continue to try to adjust this, adjust this, adjust this. This used to work, it's not working, adjust it. And so every time I get ready to give up, I'm like, no. Instead of just throwing in the towel, I was just like, let me just figure out what aspect of this needs to be changed, and then just woman up, you know what I'm saying, and make that change. Because, man, have you ever had to fire somebody, man? You don't want to do that. It's hard. You know, I literally don't sleep. Like, I will be like not sleeping, having anxiety attacks. And you know what I'm saying? Just really like, you
I've
don't want to,
even
that's
I've even
somebody's
been let
livelihood.
go. I've even been let go from places before, and the person letting me go is like in tears
It's not
because they
easy.
don't want to. And it makes you feel a little better, like, they don't want to do this, but for some reason,
No.
some reason or other, whether it was your performance or not, they
Yeah.
have to. If you
Right.
feel a little better when at least they care. A
Right.
little.
Yeah. It's just not like you're gone, pack your stuff and go. It's really just like, it's a very tearful, and I have to pull it together. I have to fast. I mean, it's a hard situation. However, sometimes those changes really are necessary.
Yeah.
And it's not just people, obviously. People is like my last, that's like the last resort. If
Yeah.
I'll try to change everything else I can. But if I can't, and it ends up being that person, it has to be done. But it's not easy. And sometimes those changes, they're hard, but they can make life better and keep you from wanting to give up. So that's what I end up doing, I guess, to square up, is just figure out where the problem is and what I need to change, and then just have to woman up and be brave enough to change it. Because if I was brave enough to exit a marriage, you know what I'm saying, then I feel like I can really be brave enough to do anything, because who wants to be talked about? Who wants to be,
I want
but if
you,
I could do that.
I want everyone listening to understand the freedom in what she just said, to be brave enough and strong enough to leave something that is not healthy and safe for you.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't like that saying, that new social media saying of, I had to leave this situation because it no longer serves me. Everything around me is not meant to serve me. That's not,
right.
That's the selfish way of living to me. But
Facts.
to leave something that is no longer healthy and safe for me, that's a whole nother thing. And
Yeah, because my health, that's it. That's exactly it. Because for some reason, stress, and my health, they go together real bad.
Mine too.
Real bad.
Real bad.
And so
real bad.
real bad. And so when I get stressed out, literally, my blood pressure goes up.
Mm-hmm.
I even triggered off. This was back when I was married and stressed and doing too much. I triggered off autoimmune thyroid disease that doesn't even run in my family. Like, stress just really takes me down through there. And so whenever, like, it's a health, and I almost lost even my youngest pregnancy, just having to go through the stress when I was married.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to take her early and do things like that. And I had a cousin who died that way, because she was literally getting into it with her husband and ended up stroking out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she became really paralyzed and died maybe another year or two later. So it just, and I went to visit her in the hospital, and I was looking at her, and she looked like a vegetable. She's only in her 30s. And I was just like, yeah, I don't have a choice but to, you know what I'm saying? You're
Like
not
I'm
going to take me down through there. You're not
in
going to
this
take me down through
relationship
there.
and it's
Yeah.
literally killing me. I'm
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah. No, I really was. And so that's why certain things have to happen. But it just taught me that you're never really stuck.
Yeah.
You're never really stuck. So even if I do decide one day to sell my practice or to do something like that, that's even better. I know it's going to be for something that's even better, not just because I just gave up.
Or it's not, or if you decide to have that practice for another 20 years, it's not because you feel like you're stuck there.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I can't let it go. No, I'm here because I want to be here. My freedom is that I get to do this. And also my freedom is if I want to let it go.
Yeah, I could do either one of them, but long as I'm not doing it, like you said, as a sense of just throwing in the towel that I can't because I'm stuck, but as a sense of like, this is just a choice that I'm making that I know is best and most healthy, and, it's going to be the best for me. So, yeah.
I love that. I will be saying you're never really stuck all day.
You're never really stuck.
That may be the name of this episode. Because that is, you are never really stuck. And I think especially society today, because so much of what we do is so public. And I'm one of those people, I don't mind sharing my life. I'm not a super private person. I tell people I'm a sacred person. Some things are sacred, but it's not much in my life that's just super private. I don't, and I think it's because when it comes to other people's thoughts on what I do, I don't care.
Right.
I have to keep it private.
I had to adopt that. Divorce will make you adopt that.
I'm the other way around of I have had to try to make myself care more. Ever since I was a kid, my mom would tell people, I just actually don't care. I don't what other people think. So it made me just really just do whatever I wanted to do. So I had to kind of adapt a little more, think about other people.
Yeah, yeah. No,
divorce will make
opposite. Yeah, I was the opposite. I stayed married much longer than I should have, just thinking about how many people would be heartbroken behind it, as far as like everyone looks up to us as a couple, blah, blah, blah. Everyone will be, feeling my family, divorce doesn't run, in my family, I'd probably be like one of the first few people in my family that ever even had a divorce. I'm like, everybody's gonna be so disappointed. I'm gonna let so many people down. I had to get over that.
Yeah.
And then once you're getting a divorce, man, there's so many people that are talking about you that you have no clue who's talking about what they're saying, and you can't fix that. So you have to learn to not care. You really have to learn. Well, I had to learn it's like, well, listen, y'all say what y'all want to say. Make up what you want to make up, add on stuff, take stuff away. It doesn't matter at this point because I have peace and then I'm good. So, I just let it. That's how I learned that. I didn't always know.
I believe it's not adopting a mindset of not caring. It is a mindset of caring about yourself more.
True. That's true.
Because I feel like you still care, because that means it could still hurt your feelings. It could still make you uncomfortable or whatever. But I think what you did, and men and women who are in those relationships that are, just sucking the life out of you. And I tell people all the time, God can change any situation. But the beautiful thing about God is that he doesn't make us do anything.
That's facts.
So if I'm in a relationship with someone and they just don't want to change, God is not going to make them. If they ask him, he will give them all they need to change. But if they're like, I'm not going to do it, well, they're just not going to do it. It's nothing.
They don't want to.
They don't want to do it. And they're just so the healthy thing to do is to do what's best for you. And like you said, it just affects relationships. We are relational creatures. So relationships with our significant others, with our families, with our children, it affects our health, it affects our mindset and all of that. And you cannot just let somebody else just tear you down.
Yeah, and it's, again, like you said, it's not necessarily that you don't care, but you don't let it control you. So it's like, it's not, even though it may feel a way, I'm not going to let it determine how I move because of what you think. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to move how it's best for me to move. And, you may think a way about it, but I do need to take care of myself because no one else is really going to do that.
You know, I say I keep going on a daily basis, fueled by prayer, coffee, and wine. Like those, and they were all created by the Lord, because the Lord created, because God created the person who created coffee. Like,
and he created the bean.
The bean, like it was this is a godsend, and he created the grape.
Yeah. Oh, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof.
He has given me dominion over it. So therefore, we're going to do what needs to be done to walk in sanity in his kingdom. Praise God. That's your word. That's your word for today. Okay. Amen. So I have enjoyed this.
Well, thank you.
I need to come to Birmingham. I was just there.
Were you there for the World Games?
No, I was there the weekend before because one of our sorority sisters got married at Vulcan Park. So I went up there for the wedding. I was there 2 weekends in a row, bachelorette party, then the wedding and whatnot. I need to just drive right on back up there, and we need to have, hey, how old are your kids?
One will be 6 next week and the other one's 8.
I got 7 and 8.
What?
There we go. My daughter's 8, my son is 7.
Boom. We got 2 girls.
I see a coffee play date in the future.
Yeah. Let me know, because this is where I be at, Birmingham. One of my best optometry friends is down there in Mobile. I know you said you had a good optometrist, but if they ever cut up any kind of way, let me know. That other Black girl that graduated with me that I was telling you about, she's down there.
Okay, yeah. You gotta send me her name.
I will. I sure will.
Okay, so let me say my little closeout. All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in for another episode. Like I said, I am going to put all of the beautiful ways you can get in touch with Dr. We're going to keep that doctor in there very big and prominent. Dr. Lori Croom Bush. So website, get your copies of the books from Amazon. I'm even going to find that video and I'm going to link it because that's the video. So I'm going to find all of that. And so if you guys do decide to get one of the devotionals or anything, please follow my good sis on the interwebs, on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all the things, and let her know how you're enjoying it and how it's helping you and changing you and things like that. So
I do appreciate that. That's the feedback. I really do.
So that is. I'm excited. I'm excited for my book to come in. I got it on Amazon. It should be here.
Thank you.
It should be here Wednesday. Yes. So yeah. Well, thank you all so much, and stay tuned for the next episode. Everybody be blessed.